At Service Logic, we believe the future of the skilled trades lies in training and development. And that's why we created the Edge, a platform dedicated to empowering our greatest assets, our people. From hands-on training to leadership development, Edge is where technicians grow their skills, expand their opportunities, and build lasting careers. Because when people succeed, our companies, our customers, and our industry thrive. This is the Edge. This is the future of the skilled trades.
I chose iConnect training equipment because I already previously had some iConnect training equipment. And I was very pleased with the equipment I had, the quality of it, and pre-designed labs that came with it. So when I expanded it more into the catalog, I decided I wanted to get this refrigeration trainer in my program to expand my program. My experience so far using the TU-155 has been pretty good experience, especially my second year students, and the light bulb kind of syndrome goes off when you see that little flicker in their eye and they're, oh, I got it. That's what us instructors, what we look for is the I got it moment. And this helps me to the I got it moment with my students, and that's what's my goal to achieve.
We are Daikin, the #1 global indoor comfort provider. Our innovative home and building solutions are engineered with energy efficiency and sustainability at their core, ensuring improved indoor air quality for all. From heating and cooling to ventilation, air purification, refrigeration technologies, and connected devices, we're at the forefront of technology, addressing the pressing challenges of sustainability.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us once again on Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show. We're so grateful that you're taking time out of your day to hang out with us and learn about changes and technologies and innovations within our industry. And we want to know where you're joining from. We absolutely love to see how large this community of HVAC professionals is growing into. So we'd love to hear from you. Just let us know in the chat. And we are going to spend some time today with our good friends over at Resideo, David Quam and Jamie Quanrud. How are you today?
Hey, doing well.
Jamie and I. Oh, no, it's grateful to have you here. We really appreciate having our industry manufacturers and educational partners here to bring firsthand information to the industry. The goal is to make sure that we're not learning by third, fourth, fifth generation training that may not be relevant. We want to make sure we're getting it firsthand from the educators as it's coming to the industry. And so today we're going to talk about some challenges. We're going to talk about some innovations. We want to make sure to get you connected with Resideo. And I've been working with Resideo products my entire career. Hey, Murph, thanks for joining us out in Jersey. Appreciate you being here with us. And as we start looking at, education, there's a lot of things for us to talk about. Jamie and I spent some time talking about our industry at the 2025 National HVACR Education Conference. And if you all haven't registered yet, we encourage you to join us. Osvaldo, I would really appreciate if you joined us from Belize. That'd be a fantastic time. I would absolutely love that. So let's start the conversation talking about some challenges within our industry. David, what are some of the biggest challenges currently facing our HVAC industry?
Well, it's a great question, Clifton. And once again, thank you for having us. Real excited about the opportunity to talk with the team, with this large audience. It's a question that I've asked customers often. And the reality is the HVAC industry is facing a number of challenges, including the need to optimize labor costs due to skilled workforce shortages, increase in competition, vying for the same demand service calls across those seasonal swings, and just the urgency to increase customer loyalty for repeat business. I just want to check really quick, Clifton. I don't know if my screen share is showing or not.
No, not yet. Let me move over there. That's another one for us.
Yeah. Just wanted to jump. I have a slide that's kind of working as I go through it. But
okay, sure.
Yeah, the need to optimize labor costs due to the skilled workforce shortages, an increase in competition vying for that same seasonal demand, and then just the urgency to increase customer loyalty for repeat business. At Resideo, we view these challenges as central to how we design product offerings. And it's really about optimizing those labor costs, increasing customer loyalty, and leads that drive profit to service professionals, right? The labor, loyalty, and leads really all comes down to that. And I think when you look at lead generation and driving that loyalty, you can kind of see it in the way that maintenance service agreements are structured today.
Absolutely.
Right? That you're looking for those opportunities to, get that foot in the door a second time and a third time.
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at some of the challenges that contractors are facing, that labor shortage is huge. We've had this discussion many a times that we're struggling to fill those shoes. And so when we look at solutions, technology is really helping make that possible. And sometimes as a contractor, it's difficult to make changes, to relook at our business structure, to relook at the way we help our consumer. And so that's really what we're doing. We're looking at those solutions and trying to help our educators and our contractors be aware of them and be prepared for them, because there's a lot of changes technologically happening in our industry. And if you're not staying up to date, you're staying behind.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about some of the ways that that Resideo is helping to streamline labor and to provide services for contractors.
Yeah, just some of those challenges we talked about, right? We're really excited right now to introduce Resideo Pro IQ services, which hit these challenges head on.
Okay.
There are 3 tiers available. One for addressing labor efficiencies or the inefficiencies, how to streamline those. The second for increasing loyalty beyond that initial job. And the third tier really set to generate leads for repeat business. So Pro IQ services are tailored specifically for service professionals and designed to work as hard as you do. So optimizing your business operations rather than disrupting them has been central to how we design it.
Very intriguing. Now, in that, what are some of the aspects of it? And are we working with generating leads? Are we working with troubleshooting? What are we doing?
Yeah. So if we dive right into that first tier, we call that Pro IQ install. And I'm sure every audience member on here who has ever programmed an HVAC control can appreciate the tediousness and the errors that can be caused by going through that process, right? The alphanumeric configurations and the need to pull out a manual to decipher what does this code mean. And what's worse, you're doing that over and over and over from job to job to job after spending hours replacing an HVAC system in a house, right? So that's a moment of time waste that you don't necessarily need to deal with. And Pro IQ install kind of cuts right through that. Not only the configuration aspects of it, but just the advent of smart home and how connected solutions are adding more complications to connecting those smart devices. Pro IQ install is there for you to be that digital tool on your tool belt. It's your single source of truth for access to anything from wiring manuals or tutorials, training videos, reference part lookups. But I think one of the things that we're really excited about as we roll out Pro IQ services is the way that the installation of products is being streamlined through smart wizards where you don't need to decipher that alphanumeric. And we are building out the capability for you to now save a template, right? If you as a manager or owner of a business or service,
right,
you want to, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I was just saying, if you want to save a template for that thermostat control, that your technicians, when they go out to that job, all they got to do is hit one button. You're now eliminating dozens of those button presses that could be a point of wasted time. We're hearing anywhere from around 15 minutes per jobs can be saved just by hitting that button that manager sets up on behalf of their technicians. And now all they got to do is hit that button, and you're reinforcing that the system is set up the way you want it. So if you think about how many technicians are going to how many jobs annually, if you can save 15 minutes on every one of those just by simply hitting that button, and you're removing the callbacks that you may run into where something wasn't set up right, and that's just wasted money on your end. We think that this is a invaluable tool that you can add to your playbook. And what's better is it's free, right? So if you're already driving smart thermostats through your business as part of your offerings, your good, better, best lineup, adding this to the install experience is really just taking costs out of your bottom line. So optimizing your business operations.
When you think about the amount of time that it takes for, like you said, understanding the setup of the thermostats, we have gotten to a point where some of our technicians aren't comfortable with, intelligent, smart thermostats because of the amount of time that it does take to understand them, to get them set up. And it all really comes back into understanding the importance of branding. Many of our consumers are really falling into an aspect of understanding branding, not just for their products, but for their services as well. And so when I look at a product for a consumer, I'm looking at, all right, what is the brand loyalty here of my product? What is my brand quality? But my service contractor, right? I'm trying to build a relationship with my consumer. And so that consumer loyalty to my brand is very, very important. So anytime that I have the ability to reduce the time that my technician is going to have to be studying the manual and understanding, everything about this particular thermostat is very advantageous.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's key, right? Is that the way that you drive that increase in customer loyalty, right? Like contractors today are out there, they're spending on average $200 to $300 per lead just to drive that new source of customer relationship into their business.
Sure.
And I think what we're doing now, as we look at the Pro IQ services, it's not just the Pro app and using that as a time saver for setting up products. It's every time you use that Pro app as a technician working on behalf of your company, that device is being associated to your company in that local neighborhood, right? Because we think it's so important that every home has a pro down the road that they can call on for help, right? Like it's a local relationship at the end of the day. And right now, if you tried to go through the process of having your technicians not only install a new HVAC system and then program a thermostat and connect a thermostat, and then on top of that, you're trying to drive okay, well, now we want to add these, contact details through the configuration of the thermostat.
Right.
Why? That's not part of the technician's job, and you want them to get to job number 2, right?
Yeah, most of them hate it.
Most of them hate it, and they
honestly
avoid it, right? They just end up not doing it. So
right.
we had that. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we designed these Pro IQ services to be both complementing the in-field experiences as you roll out to a job, but also there's a web dashboard dedicated to your company where all the devices that you're going and hooking up are now rolling back into a back office view for you to organize from, right?
Really?
So there's yes. So you think about just that, well, did you write down that serial ID from that thermostat on the clipboard, and now I can put it into my CRM tool? All of those asynchronous handoffs are just prone for breakage. All you have to do here is tell your workforce, use the Pro app. It's going to save you time, and you're not going to have to go through the tediousness of programming because it's just one tap. But just by using it, it's rolling back into your web dashboard. And now you as a manager or owner or marketing leader have access to this book of business where you can drive the second tier of Pro IQ, which is Pro IQ Engage, right? So you get all the efficiencies of saving the time through the Pro App programming, but now from this web dashboard, this book of business customer list is something that you can engage with and load your company brand, your online appointment scheduler. You can even load custom messaging through that view, and it's going to push down to the various consumer interfaces that you've been you've done a job for, right? So on the consumer mobile app experience, which I'm showing the first alert app here, you can see the HVAC branding HomeCo. That's your company logo in full color. You can click to contact that, and it goes to the website where maybe you have your booking tool. And if you just think about like the homeowners buying a connected thermostat, the number one place their eyeballs are going, much more effective than that postcard you put in the mailbox or the sticker you put on that return duct, right? Like this is now when they go into what's my temperature in my house? What's the local weather look like? I want to increase or decrease the temperature. Your brand is there. And that's my pro. That's my local neighborhood trusted advisor. And I'm going to reach out to them if I have questions or I want to schedule a repair job. And we're creating richer and richer dynamics, new communication channels where call for your spring tune-up, happy holidays from your local pro. Like there's no shortage of ways that you can turn Pro IQ Engage into a new communication channel for your business. And you don't have to bog your technician down with doing it.
So have you seen then like an evolution of the homeowner to contractor relationship? Is that part of the driving design behind the new services?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's front and center, right? Like I think that the universal truth here is that all HVAC systems age and eventually need repairs, right? Like that's just core to the business. Your P&L is driven by it. Retry logic exists in those systems, right? Air conditioners, furnaces, they try to correct themselves. But I think the historically, this has been locked inside the cabinet, right? So that retry happens and it's only when that it can't reset itself, it goes into a hard lockout. And what does that mean? That means the homeowner comes home after a 10-hour day. And their house is super uncomfortable. And they're stressed out, right? Because they've got plans that night. So they're going to be scrambling to find, and where does their loyalty lie, right? So Resideo, we were challenged with the notion that, through our universal smart thermostats, could we transform the reactive nature of the service calls that, go with the seasonal swings and no matter the HVAC system, make, model, or brand, we could help make that stressful situation something that's a little more planned out and tied to that local neighborhood pro who they trust for their business, right? So yeah, I think it's all about that relationship between the homeowner and their local neighborhood pro, and Pro IQ Services is seeking to just unlock that potential in ways that fit your daily operations, right? We don't want this to become a big time suck that takes away from your way of building business and profitability.
Okay, I'm hearing a lot of solutions, and we're going to be diving into a bunch of these as we move forward. So is it a one-size-fits-all package, or how do we look at the new services? Because it looks like you have an entire suite of services all built around this same protocol.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the overall fit, I do want to just hit on like the premium version. Pro IQ Analyze is the top of the line. So you get the Pro app, which is our, meant to address those labor inefficiencies. Pro IQ Engage, where you can create new communication channels. But the third tier, Pro IQ Analyze, this unlocks remote device services for your customer base, right? With the consent of that homeowner, you can unlock how is that universal thermostat that's operating the heating and cooling equipment performing, right? So there are alerts already baked into the thermostat themselves for like upper and lower temperature, high and low humidity, where you can set your own custom triggers as a HVAC contractor and know before the homeowner does that the house is starting to creep in the wrong direction, right? So now you can reach out, and that just flips the whole dynamic, that you're not really waiting for them to discover that the system is in a hard lockout. You're knowing degrees ahead of them. And then I think on top of that, not only is it the triggers that you can set as custom, we're starting to look at the operating patterns over time, and we can start to identify signals where the system is just, the runtime is out of whack. You're spending more energy to maintain the same comfort, and that's coming through as a non-active alert to your company. That's something you can talk to them the next time you're in there on a maintenance service agreement. So it's kind of augmenting that MSA in new ways. And at the same time, if there is something you can kind of spot check, you can remotely patch in, again, with the customer's consent, to maybe correct a configuration setting of that thermostat without rolling the truck out to the house, right? So saving those truck rolls once again, right? Getting more and more efficient on your bottom line.
Yeah, when we look at what's happening in the residential, light commercial spectrum, which is where this product is shining, we look back at the commercial applications that have been using this style for a while, but now the HVAC contractor is becoming more of a connected contractor. And I know a lot of contractors don't like having this conversation, but many of them are embracing that, understanding that even as a contractor, we're moving into a connected environment where we have to know some of these things about a system before we get there. I think back in my days as a technician, and Sharath, hey, I appreciate you joining us from Dubai. We're glad to have you here with us today. Back in the days of technician, how many times have I went to a homeowner just to have a thermostat set up or have a filter that was dirty, something silly that wasted time. And as we continue talking about the shortage of labor, we have to be aware of how these services are helping us be more efficient as an industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think just the fit to your business, right? Like I kind of covered these 3 different packages. They build upon themselves, right? So we meant for this to be adaptable to your business. If you want to start on the far left side with just Pro IQ install, using that Pro app to save time per job, you start there. You can upgrade to Engage and Analyze, and those features come along with it, right? So you can either jump right into the full suite, which is Pro IQ Analyze, comes with all the benefits of Pro IQ Engage and Install, or start on the left side and work your way up. And what's best is you can upgrade without rolling a truck back to that house, right? So there's so much just built into the relationship between the homeowner and that local pro, where if we can associate your company as the trusted advisor to that homeowner, now we're creating that flywheel effect. And to me, that's where you can kind of build this out at your own pace, right? You don't have to get super aggressive and invest a ton of extra capital into smart home services like Pro IQ. You're already buying thermostats. It's part of your workforce. Your company is familiar with them. We're just unlocking new value streams that build upon themselves when you're ready, right? And I think you're hitting on a really good point, Clifton, that the smart home space itself is just maturing from a homeowner point of view, as well as within the trade industry. And, what better time to be part of this industry than now, right?
Especially when we are starting to see an economy in our trade where equipment sales are down. No matter how you look at it, equipment sales are down. Consumers are looking at services. They're looking at their, cost of ownership. And in many times, a thermostat has that resource, has that information that can help us provide a new solution, something that we haven't looked at a whole lot in the past. We're going to get into that here in just a little bit. We're going to talk about what we're going to be using for the sensors for this, what we're going to be monitoring. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've actually got a couple videos. What do you think, Dave? Is this a good time to kind of jump into the build your book of business videos?
Absolutely. These videos do much better justice to summing it up than I just did. So take her away.
Yeah, absolutely. And Richard, thanks for joining us. We're glad to have you here with us from Rich here in Georgia. All right, we'll see you all here in just a couple minutes.
Would you benefit from a service that can help you grow your customer base and create customer trust and loyalty? How about a service that can help your technicians complete installations faster and more accurately? What if I told you there's a service that can help you with all of this while at the same time helping you build your book of business? And it most likely integrates seamlessly with thermostats you're already installing. Hi, I'm Anna from Resideo, and the service I'm referring to is Pro IQ. Today I'll share with you how you can take advantage of each level of Pro IQ to build your book of business, help your technicians save time, and increase customer loyalty by providing superior service. Pro IQ includes 3 levels: Pro IQ Install, ProIQ Engage, and ProIQ Analyze. Each tier of enhanced features includes features from previous ones. ProIQ Install enables you to use the Pro Portal to keep track of your customers and speed up installation times. Your technicians most likely install common packages multiple times a week. You can save them time in the field and ensure accuracy when you use the Resideo Pro app to create and save common ISU templates they can apply in the field via their Resideo Pro app. So instead of them going through each ISU configuration option during installation, they can simply choose a configuration template to automatically configure the thermostat. You can also use the Pro Portal to preload customer information for technicians to quickly access in the field via the Pro app to help decrease install times and ensure customer information is always accurate. Keep your customers returning by making it easy for them to contact you when they need help. When you enroll in a subscription service ProIQ Engage, your company logo and contact information is prominently displayed on your customer's first alert app and compatible thermostats. Now, when they have questions or issues, they'll call you for help instead of calling someone else. And what if you could keep your customers' minor issues from becoming major ones by staying ahead of breakdowns and service calls? Build customer trust and loyalty when you know about problems before they do. When you subscribe to ProIQ Analyze, you can remotely monitor customer devices and receive device alerts, enabling you to reach out with support before they contact you. Imagine being able to take care of issues without ever sending a technician. With ProIQ Analyze and the Pro Portal, you can remotely access customer devices to update system settings, change preferences, and update or change ISU firmware configurations. In this video, I've covered how using ProIQ services can help you grow your customer base, create customer trust and loyalty, and help your technicians be more efficient in the field. If you'd like more information about ProIQ services so you can start growing your book of business, refer to this website. Thanks for watching this tech tip. If you found it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment with a topic you'd like us to cover next. For additional information and training on using ProIQ services, please visit Resideo Academy.
All right, Jamie, I am seeing some very interesting features on this new thermostat. Now, I myself have been a Prestige IAQ fan for a very, very, very long time, and I'm seeing similarities and I'm seeing differences. So let's talk a little bit about the latest thermostat offering, and so we can talk about the services as well as the thermostat.
Wonderful. Yes. So you mentioned one of the products that a lot of us have loved, Prestige IAQ, and one of our coworkers here that Dave and I have in common has said for the last 10 years, ElitePRO, powered by ProIQ, is the device that everybody has been waiting for. So the ElitePRO Smart Thermostat was really designed in partnership with our HVAC contractors in mind. It's our top of the line, state of the art thermostat from America's #1 most trusted thermostat brand. You saw in that video, I think I've seen that 100 times now, and I still get so excited every time I see it. One of the big things you saw was video. We wanted to make sure that you as a contractor can be the hero of the home. And as you are there creating that connected home for your customers, as Mrs. Smith is in the kitchen, maybe cooking, or, somebody's running around the house, someone rings the doorbell, Amazon's there or pizza's there to be delivered. How great is that to just look at the device and see who is there at the front door.
That's
And
crazy.
to kind of capitalize on what Dave said a little bit ago, if your customers are using the First Alert app, guess what? That video shows up on the First Alert app as well for the homeowner, so they can see who is at the door, whether they're home or not.
Okay. Intriguing. All right.
Yes. We're very excited about that. Dave, do you want to go to the next slide? We'll keep talking features here. So we go back one, there we go. So we, over the last couple of years, have come out with what we are calling a UWP wall plate,
Yep.
which is kind of standard for all of the thermostats coming out from Honeywell Home.
Yep, I've
That
seen that.
UWP wall plate that you love and have begun to use, T6, T series, T10 plus, same UWP wall plate works
Oh,
with
really?
this thermostat as well. So it's as easy as pulling off the old device and snapping on the new one.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
then I think maybe the most exciting is RedLink. And here we go. This is that seamless connection, that connectivity you are looking for in the house to really make sure that the homeowner has the connection to their thermostat that you are wanting them to have. So we're really excited about this new thermostat platform. And I say thermostat platform because this is ushering in an ecosystem. This is not just about a device
Yep.
or a widget. This unlocks an ecosystem that Dave has been talking about into our Pro IQ line of services to really help you as the contractor be the hero as you are setting up a connected environment for your homeowner customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I see it as a very important part of our industry. And it's something that is is an item. Like we see a lot of technology as we're out going through different educational programs. We see a lot of the Honeywell products. And so let's talk about how these new ecosystems are like augmenting training needs for our workforce.
Yeah, great question. So Dave talked a lot about Pro IQ and that ecosystem. All of those things use the Pro app, the Resideo Pro app.
Mhm.
And inside of that Pro app, we're embedding training content. We are embedding videos. We are embedding what we're calling e-documentation, very dynamic pieces of content, so that as your technicians, your installers, you can go back one slide, Dave, as your technicians and your installers are in the field, they are finding that training content right inside of that app. We don't want them stuck. We don't want them having questions, and they can find that support right there. And one of the things I want to key on here is there's different options as these devices are installed inside the house. So it comes in both black and white, but does this look familiar? Does this look like almost an iPhone screen? You know how that
It really
dynamic
does.
screen, so you can create that sort of custom experience for your customers. So back to what I was saying about the Pro app, I think this is really a tipping point for our industry. I think we can look back over the last 50 or so years. We can find something, a waypoint in every one of the decades over the last 50 years about something that has happened in HVAC that has pushed us into the next realm. And I think we're there. I think we are going to turn around from this point and look back and go, gosh, people before the year 2025, they were actually commissioning on the device. We get to do it in the app. Oh, I can't believe how easy it is now. The things that our team has come out with and what Dave has really put some heart and soul into really are going to be changing the industry so that these devices, these things are being connected via technology as opposed to on device.
Yeah, and that's really what we're trying to do here is show the new environment that we are moving into as HVAC contractors. We're really becoming high-end technicians, right? And we have to be prepared for that. And as educators, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're teaching the newest technologies and innovations that our technicians are going to encounter as soon as they get out and hit that field. So let's also talk about some of the different trainings that are available from Resideo.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, Resideo Academy is the technical training program from Resideo. So, we support HVAC, plumbing, security, electrical, distribution customers. Basically, I like to say we're pretty agnostic over here. Wherever you are in the industry, we believe that you deserve technical training based on your role. So, if you are a technician or an installer, you're in the field and you're turning the screws, you need really deep dive information. We've got that for you. But if you're a student, we might have a different path for you as well. Or if you're standing behind the counter at an HVAC distribution, we have that overview sort of how these things incorporate inside of a product family. So we are your one-stop technical resources for all of the technical training you might need for Honeywell Home and First Alert products that we go to market with. So we've got 2 YouTube channels where you can find our content. We've got Resideo Support and Resideo Pro. I'm going to direct you to the one that's on the bottom there. That is where we produce what we call tech tips. These are short 2 to 3 minute videos that talk to the technician and tell you how Resideo products solve a problem in the field. We've got over 70 of those videos right now over the last 2.5 years that we've published. We've had over 1 million views of those tech tips since we started publishing the first one. And then we have our customer support YouTube channel. That's the QR code on the top there. That channel just hit 1 million views since January this year. And I don't just say that just to sort of wave the flag and go, look at us. That to me says you all want this content. It's meeting a need somewhere. So you saw that video from Anna, who's on Dave's team, talking about our Pro IQ services. If you have ideas or if you want to see something else from us, let us know. We take that feedback very seriously and we can turn around a video to answer a question for you. So a very long-winded answer to your question there, Clifton. We've got lots of videos, but we also have e-learning. So if you'd like to log into your Resideo Academy account, fun fact, if you already have a Resideo Pro account, if you already use the Resideo Pro app, you can use those same credentials to access Resideo Academy. You can find e-learnings there. We do regular webinars on a weekly basis that cover our most popular products here within Honeywell Home. We also, if you are looking for technical training, if you'd like to attend an in-person class, we do have a schedule published there. Or if you'd like to request a private training, make sure to reach out, go to resideo.com/academy, and you can schedule a technical training for your team. We've got an army of technical trainers in North America, so we can parachute someone out into your 4 walls and do an in-person technical training. We also can support you if you speak Spanish or Quebecois French as well.
Cool. Yeah, no, really great. We have to look at, where these resources are as we start moving into more of a technological age. When we start looking at technicians, we are starting to pick up new tools. It's part of what we're doing, and technology is a piece of that tool. What kind of skills do you see pros needing to be successful working with some of our new generation of thermostats and our communicating environments?
Yes. Well, I think one thing that comes to mind is data analysis and being able to interpret what's happening. Dave talked a little bit about and showed you some screens of Pro IQ Analyze that's going to give you insights into what's happening into the equipment inside of your customers' homes.
Sure.
You're going to need to be able to understand and read those.
Like, what does it mean?
And anticipate what is coming so that when we deploy someone out to those job sites, they're going to be able to implement the solution quickly and be able to configure those smart HVAC devices. Troubleshooting is going to take on a whole new perspective here. How do you manage and understand digital tools for both remote monitoring and control? And then, as always, I'll always put my little plug in here for having great customer service with our homeowner customers as they are the need for control and the need for a connected home continues. The ability to provide great customer service is going to be paramount.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that we're going to have to learn and be aware of. One of the questions that just came in from Richard, when we're talking about a platform like this, how many family members can actually use the app, right? Because we're starting to have connected families. I mean, it's crazy. Like my family probably knows exactly where I am right now. And so when we start looking at that ecosystem, what does the modern smart home family look like?
Yeah. Dave, do you want to answer that question? I don't think we have a limit to the number of members who can use that first app.
Yeah, right now, I mean, obviously within reason, the unlimited, right? So when you think about a residential space, like if you're talking about a family unit, you can certainly have 5, 10, 15 accounts on one application. When you start to talk about light commercial or small, medium business, where you're talking hundreds, that's a different conversation. I think that's, it's certainly, setting family members up to, kind of drive the way that schedule is dynamically adjusting. Certainly those opportunities exist for homeowners. I was going to actually build on one point that Jamie made too, that I think, Clifton, your question is a great one on, what are the skill sets that HVAC contractors are going to have to kind of hone in on. I mean, I think by turning services from a reactive model to a proactive model, like how does that change the conversation at the dining room table, right? You're no longer in problem fixing mode. You're in consultation mode, right? So how do you have,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think Jamie hit on it with data analysis. Like it's not necessarily that you have to be a statistician, but like being able to like express to the homeowner, like, you're coaching them, right? How could your house be better? It's more about a proactive, preemptive relationship than it is get in and fix it and get out.
No, completely. Dave, do you have any, in the slide presentation, did you have any photos of the actual equipment itself?
Of the equipment? Well, so yeah, I actually saw this. The equipment itself is a web dashboard and a pro mobile app combined with services. So I saw the question in the chat on like, what hardware do you need to invest in? And the unique element of ProIQ services is that you're already investing in them. If you buy a basic thermostat that just has a temperature sensor, well, that temperature sensor has proactive alerts built into it that you can generate custom responses or proactive responses to the homeowner off of, right? So if you want to know the temperature limit before the homeowner's discomfort is reached, you can do that on a basic thermostat, or you can go super rich into the ElitePRO with the equipment interface module. If you're familiar with what you want to do.
Oh, my favorite tool.
Like, the more you put in, the richer the data gets. But that's not to say you need to invest only in the premium line. Well, certainly we want you to, but it's meant to fit your business, right? So if you're putting in just a standard Resideo thermostat, you're still benefiting from ProIQ Install, ProIQ Engage, ProIQ Analyze. It's just you can go richer. You can start to get into like, tell me if there's no airflow off a dry contact relay on that equipment interface module, or tell me if that drain pan water leak detector has just gone off, right? And have that come back to your business so you can reach out to them. That's peace of mind that is priceless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So it really is starting to make sense now. So we're really talking just about an evolution of the ecosystem. So we're not talking about having to put a complete new thermostat on. Yes, you have those options of going as advanced as you want on the thermostat, but the ecosystem is actually using all of the data that's already there. So if we're using a thermostat that just has the sensor built into it, we're utilizing that data to build as much content as we can. If we're using the additional systems, like with the interface module, where you're using temperature thermistors that you're going to be adding into the ductwork, we can actually now use the Red Link system. So we're looking at moisture sensors. You're just building upon that ecosystem. And so the more components brought into it, the more data and the more analytics that are being driven from that.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that we like to talk a lot about is preventative maintenance, right? It's not just about the firmware switch trigger being tripped. It's about, let's look at the runtime patterns off the W1, the W2, the Y1, the Y2, and tell me if the stages of runtime are driving towards that set point in ways that are normal, like the patterning is normal for this house or not, right? So we're starting to build the insights and the preventative maintenance services where it's not just waiting for something to be wrong. It's telling you like this house is working way more than it usually does to maintain the set point for this homeowner. You might want to give them a call, right? Like that's the way that we're setting up this system. So.
Okay. I'm really, really liking that. As we continue to evolve, what do you see? What does this evolution look like? Because I'm seeing that we're taking existing technology, we're giving it better software, better ecosystem, better internal structure. Where are we going with this?
Well, Resideo is just getting started. We talked a lot about thermostats today, but
yeah,
we're a known manufacturing company that crosses many of the critical networks in a home, right? Be it water, be it indoor air quality. These are universal services, right? So that the Pro IQ services also work with our L series water leak detectors, our VX cameras. We're going to be moving into new spaces.
Really?
So expanding and, giving you starting points where that hardware device doesn't necessarily need to be a thermostat to get out of the gate. And so you start to think about just service professionals and what you can do across your disciplines. If you have heating and cooling and plumbing, like we're moving in directions that our hardware is native to that space, right? So we're sending signals from our controls and our sensing logic in ways that will open up standardized services through Pro IQ. And that's really what I'm excited about, coupled with, just the richer insights that will continue to refine and update. Like we're not going to, necessarily add, nth degree of services on top of what we already have. Like some of these will just get richer as they build a history in the property. So, and all with an eye towards the fit to operations, right? Like I'm sorry to go on, but like to me, features are only as good as not disrupting your day. As a contractor, I realize I can't come in and tell you, well, I'm an OEM manufacturer. I want you to take a half day out of your work schedule to deal with this specific technology. Like we're trying to build Pro IQ services into your flow that save you time, not take time.
Yeah, I think about the service contracts that we're starting to see a lot of. I can see complementing that service contract, with the Honeywell suite, and I can see a service manager with a dashboard of those customers.
Yep. Me too. Yeah, I think that's to me that's spot on. It's not just about that HVAC system sale as a starting point, but what about the aging appliances that are out in the market and the thermostat working on that wall? Like you can retrofit, turn on Pro IQ services anytime. So what does that mean to the way that you roll out your maintenance service agreement tune-ups in the shoulder seasons, right? If you see a thermostat on that wall that's up and running, but that system's 8 years old, well, activate Pro IQ. That's a point of activation. You don't need to do it when you initially install the thermostat. And so what does that mean for the service managers? What does that mean for operations managers or marketing? It's not just about that sales consultation when that air conditioner died. That's a nice starting point, but that's not the only starting point. And I think there's way more service calls than there are HVAC sales in an annual season.
Yeah. Well, and just all of that data of tracking the history of that unit.
Yes.
There's so much opportunity just monitoring what's going on with the history.
Yep.
A lot of great stuff here. So let's talk about contractors and pros getting established with IQ services and learning more about it. I know we've talked about the academy. What are the next steps for an educator that's interested in experimenting with the services in a classroom, or the contractor that is ready to start diving deeper?
Yeah, a couple of ways we can do that. First and foremost, anybody can download the Resideo Pro app. That's where we invite you to start. We've got lots of resources available there. We also have resources inside of YouTube, a couple of those as well. I want to make sure that we talk to our educator partners who are on this webcast today as well. we have you in mind as Dave and team are coming out with these new software solutions. We wanted to make sure that we had a way to get some of these things into your hands as well. If you were attending the 2024 HVAC Excellence Conference in Las Vegas, you saw myself and Leah pictured in one of these pictures here with a very crude zoning trainer with some controls on it. We were kind of doing some informal voice of the instructor, kind of asking what would you look for from a Honeywell home kit to get out in front of you into your lab spaces to teach some of these software services and new pieces of devices from our company. So we have built an HVAC learning kit. It is available for purchase now. It is 40 by 31. It comes disassembled. It will arrive with assembly instructions, wiring schematics, how-to videos. There are also instructor guides and student guides that include exercises using the Resideo Pro app, getting into Pro IQ services that you as an HVAC educator in your classroom can start using with your students today, so that before they get their first real job with a heating and cooling company, they can be practicing those things inside of your lab spaces.
Man, I'm getting really, really excited. And for those out there joining us, Resideo is going to be sponsoring one of these kits here in the studio. So we're going to have continued learning on this, being able to get introduced into the different products and how they integrate into the services. And it's a really, really, really cool thing. I'd love to have a competition at one of the conferences one day with some of these.
Maybe we can come up with something for Vegas for March.
I'm thinking so. It's going to be a fantastic year. I encourage everyone who hasn't already registered to dive in. And it's not just for educators. A lot of people call and go, hey, can I come to this? I'm a contractor. I'm a technician. I'm wanting to learn. It's all about education. And it's grown so much, not for the 26, but for the 27, we're actually going to be expanding and almost doubling the size because we've grown so much in the last few years. So we're very excited that we're joining forces with all of our training partners from the industry, including Resideo, to bring these training resources to you, right? It's something you don't have to build. We've all built trainers in our classrooms. We know how much time that it takes to build. We've all created curriculum. We know how much time it takes to organize, and Resideo is providing a solution for you to be able to stay up to date with our modern smart homes, and even just the wiring and connecting and understanding how these different components connect to each other. It's one of my favorite things about this trainer is that you can actually see all of your components in front of you and spread out instead of being spread out through an entire home. So a lot of benefits to the classroom. So thank you for creating those.
Of course.
Cool.
It's a passion project for sure.
I'm seeing that. Yeah, it's a lot of great stuff going on in there. Still a lot of people out there hanging in. Does anyone have any questions for us as we're getting closer to the top of the hour? And Jamie, David, any other things that we want to cover while we're here?
I think I will close out by saying, it's not just about that ElitePRO. I think you said it well, Clifton. It's more than just a thermostat. This is an ecosystem that we have created to help our HVAC contractors win in their marketplace and really help them with those leads, loyalty, and labor.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the smart home space to me, just kind of like my view of it, like it's so exciting. Like in your career, how often do you get a chance to look at a make market space? And there's no channel better set up to truly help realize the potential of it than the trade channel, right? The smart home doesn't need to just be the kind of the entertainment values. These critical networks that keep you comfortable, keep your house running efficient, keep the air quality great. Like there's no reason that the average consumer can't do that themselves, right? So how do we introduce them to a pro in their local neighborhood who can help take them to a next level in terms of the critical networks through the smart home services of Pro IQ being realized? I just think there's such an opportunity here. Really excited once again. And thank you, Clifton, for having us on.
No, I really appreciate you being here. When we look at the technicians in the field, the ones that are going to be the most capable of understanding this infrastructure and ecosystem are our youngest technicians that have grown up with the technologies. And so I encourage our educators to, if you're not already spending time in the smart home environment, I encourage you to start diving deeper, connecting with Resideo and bringing it into the classroom. Well, I haven't seen any other questions pop up. I'm sure grateful for you being here. I look forward to seeing everyone at the National HVACR Education Conference. It is going to be a fun time. And I will be bringing this learning kit into the lab here, and we'll start doing some hands-on demonstrations. So if you get one for yourself, email me and we will go through some of the practices and exercise getting comfortable online. So Jamie, David, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you all again next week on Did You Know? The ESCO HVAC Show. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.